Well, if I could just get Caitlin out of my head, maybe I could trade better. Okay, I hope she doesn't see this episode because I did not make her proud. Today, big red day, down $58,000. I didn't see this coming. I really didn't. Maybe I should have. I don't know, but I didn't. Unfortunately, today we had volatility, and man, I just got on the wrong side of it. So I'm red on 3 out of the 3 stocks I traded. Hit my max loss. Account is locked. Cannot take any more trades. I'm bummed. This is not how I want to start the week. Silver lining is that this is in the context of what has been one of the best months of the year. July has been a really good month. I'm already up well over $1 million. And even after today's loss, I'm still up over $1 million. So realistically, I'm giving back, $58,000 off my peak of 1.1 million. It's less than 5%. It's tolerable in terms of percentages, but it doesn't really make it that much more fun to see, a red number the size of, a Volvo on my screen. So, all right, well, where do we begin? Let's start by just looking at the scan. So here's the crazy thing. We've got a stock right now up over 500%, vape. And this is actually a problem. And as you can see, I'm red $31,000 on it. This is very similar to VLCN from a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So vape squeezes up this morning. I mean, just an unbelievable move. It goes from 10 to 40, pulls back, goes to 60, pulls back, goes to 70, pulls back, goes to 80, dips, and rips to over $170 a share. Guess what? No news. There's no news. So it ends up coming all the way back down to 60, minutes later. And right here, boom, news comes out and I jump in. I'm so tuned to jumping in something that's moving on breaking news. But guys, this is the problem. The people that traded it here, they already knew this news was coming. And so they were selling. And so it pops up and immediately reverses. And I lost $31,000 on it. Same as VLCN. So this is insider trading. I'm almost certain of it. There were some people that knew the news was coming early this morning. This is another crypto headline, just like VLCN. And I fell for it. And I'm frustrated myself because typically when something is popping up at the top or bottom of the hour, I expect there is news, and I skim the news. I don't read it very closely. I'm focusing so much on reading the chart and reading the level 2. But these last couple weeks, we've had I've had 2 bigger losses as a result of a stock that was already up because people knew the news was coming. So that is definitely frustrating. But that's what happened on vape. So you've got this stock which is a leading gainer, but there are other people that already got the head start on it, and so I'm trading the backside and obviously got caught. So that was on vape. And you know what? That same thing happened on VLCN. I went red 34,000 on the day, but I was still able to recover and finish the day in the green. And so even though I was red 31,000 on this, I thought, you know what? Let's just stay focused because we are seeing volatility. I just need to make sure I'm on the front side of the next one and not trading the backside. So CLEC, this stock pops up this morning, squeezes up right here on no news. So we get another no news move. It gets halted. Then it resumes trading, continues higher, and suddenly, sort of out of nowhere, I mean, this pop right here, I don't think anyone was expecting that it would break $32 and squeeze all the way up to $60 a share. That is unbelievable. That's an incredible move in, again, like one candle. I missed it. So here's the problem. This one has a 23 million share float. It's got a higher float. It's easy to borrow. It just, to me, didn't look like the type of stock that's going to make a big move. So I missed it. I didn't trade it. We have ATHE that pops up on the scans. It's a biotech stock with news. I jumped into that. It goes from 8 to 9 to 10, almost to 11, reverses back down. I lose $1,100 on it. Thank goodness I kept my share size small. I kept it small on that because it was lighter volume, so I was kind of testing the water. So now I'm red on 2 stocks, ATHE and vape. And so then I'm watching CRVO. CRVO, I was watching this, comes back up, dips down, didn't trade it, pops back up, dips down. Now we've got an inverted head and shoulders pattern right here. So as it starts to pull away, I'm like, okay, on CELC, we broke out and we squeezed huge. Obviously, Vape made a big move. Now CRVO is coming back up. So I ended up adding heavy. And this was a mistake. I added 30,000 shares for the break of 15. And it goes to a high of 1670, which is incredible. I was up over $1 a share. But in a matter of seconds, it flashes back down to a low of 1336. And by the time I was out, I was down 25,000. And with that, I said, all right, I'm done. I'm below max loss, but this is getting a little silly. This was a nice setup. I was up nicely on it. I didn't take the profit. I thought it was going to keep going. And then it does a huge jackknife. And it just was so fast. All of a sudden, I'm down 25 grand. So, you know what? Today is more of, it's a highly volatile market. We are still definitely in a bull market, but we were just seeing a lot of big moves. We were seeing some FOMO. I was trading with a bit too much size on that last trade, a little bit of revenge trading. 30,000 shares, was trying to be aggressive. And I got on the wrong side of it. What I should have done in hindsight is after the big loss on Vape, I should have sized down and just tried to chip away and maybe get a couple small winners and gone from down 31,000 to maybe down 25 or maybe 15 at best. But unfortunately, I just kept trading aggressively. And so I got kicked in the teeth on that first trade. And from there was like, all right, I'm not going to give up until I kind of got, I just got knocked out of the game for the day. But this is why I have the stops at a certain point. So my max loss on my account right now is $50,000. Previously, I'd had it set at 5,000, then I'd moved it to 15, then to 25, and then to 50. And I moved it up because I've been having bigger green days. So my kind of thought was that I don't want to lose more than I can make in one good day. So when we look at my daily average over the last 30 days or so, you can see I'm averaging about $66,000. Now, so in theory, I probably could have afforded to lose another 10 grand today or whatever, and still not have lost more than I make on one typical day. But there was no point. There was just no point in going any further into the red. It just wasn't happening. And so I have the max loss set on my account at $50,000. So right now, if I go down more than that, I can't take any more trades. In a colder market, I'm going to tighten that max loss up. So I'm going to be paying close attention to what is my daily average. Like I said, I don't want to lose more than I can make in one good day. So if it's a cold market, I'm only making 5,000 a day, the max loss has to be 5,000. If I'm making 50,000, if I'm making $100,000 a day on average, then I can afford to go red 75,000. And who knows, I might even have a chance of getting back to flat or even green on the day. Today, I just felt like I got to a point where it was like, after that last loss on CRVO, the odds of recovering and getting green, just, they weren't there. It was like, this is not going to happen here today. The best days start strong. And so the fact that last trade was like, getting close to 830, it was just like, I'm running out of time for a big recovery. And the market is just showing it's too indecisive. These pops and drops, we're seeing big moves, but I think a challenge today was dispersed attention combined with a little insider trading. And it left us as retail traders kind of unsure of what we could trust and not feeling like we had something that was truly obvious. Vape, it was too expensive. I should have just left it alone. FOMO got the best of me, and I jumped in when I saw it popping, and all of a sudden the spreads opened up, and I, got smoked. So, it is what it is. CELC, didn't trade that. Didn't think it was going to make such a big move, but it did. And so now at this point, like, where is volume in the market today? I mean, if we sort by highest volume, you're going to have Open, which is a Wall Street bet stock. You've got LIDR, which is, still moving, but crowded. SMX is crowded. V-Wave, more thickly traded. These aren't stocks I'm going to probably do well on. So, look, it is what it is. I'm not pleased to be sitting with this kind of red day at the beginning of the week, but I've got to remember that most likely a week from now, I won't even remember the stocks I lost on. Now, if I think back to my last red day, and this is going to be the example. So last red day was back here. I was down 11,000. That was not even 2 weeks ago. I can't remember a single stock I traded on that day. I can't remember a single stock I traded. So if I'm not going to remember today, a week from now, then why even spend another moment being sad about it? I'm not even going to remember today. I mean, this is the thing. You have to have a bit of a short-term memory in some ways with trading, at least with the loss, because you've got to let it go. Yes, it's important to remember patterns that work. I mean, you can't have, a memory problem and be a successful trader, I don't think. But it's important to be able to let it go. And so likewise, I don't remember the trades I took on these days that were green. The green days, I don't hang on to them either. It just is what it is. I show up every day. I trade every day. I do the best I can. And today is not the worst day of my career. I have not had a day this year that set any record of best day or worst day. So, it's just a day that I'm red. And the fact is, I'm red, right now, I don't know how many days we have of this year. I guess we could go look, but there's 250 trading days in the year. We're probably at day like 120, something like that, 125 maybe. And I've had 4 red days. So I'm red right now, 4% of the time, and that's rounding up. So today's just one of those days. And, don't make it more than it needs to be. If I spent the rest of the day revenge trading, jumping on anything that popped, like this stock AIM that popped up on 50,000 shares of volume. And really, I mean, this is kind of an important thing to note. How much volume did this actually have? This went up 300% on 67,000 shares of volume. So could I have bought 50,000 shares and sold 50,000 shares? Well, I mean, I didn't trade it, so, I don't know. If there was a big seller, maybe I could have, and if there was a big buyer, maybe, but there wasn't a lot of liquidity in this one. So sometimes it can create the illusion of momentum, but it's very short-lived. ATHE, this obviously was a short-lived pop. There were a few others that were short-lived. I don't know, this had biotech news. It kind of surprised me that the first trade of the day was that big of a rejection. I was like, that's weird. So then I was kind of like, all right, well, let's focus on what's the leading gainer. But that didn't get me in a better spot because this one was too much on the backside. So look, I put the days all out there for you guys. I recap every day, whether it's a red day or green day. Over the last year, I think the only day I missed for a recap was on Thursday because I had that procedure at the hospital. But of course I uploaded my P&L and I talked about it the next day, so you guys got to see it anyways. So I try to really show you guys what it's like to be a trader, the ups and the downs. And I'm privileged and grateful that I don't have, more red days, but I have at other times in my career. And of course I've uploaded those recaps as well. So, right now, overall, we're in, a pretty nice hot market. We go back to 2023. I'll just, sort of jump back here. And you'll see there's other periods where, there's a lot more red days. Ugh, golly. That was a lot of red days, 2023. 2021, this was a fantastic year for me. I finished up well over $4 million, but there were some big red days here. Let's look at this. $268,000, $94,000. Wow. Okay, so, these are some serious red days. The beginning of January, 24, 38, 25, 66. I mean, I was having red days like that on a, much more regular basis than I would have liked to have. So, this year I've been able to keep the red days a bit fewer and further between. And so, yeah, I might be sitting here with a red day, but big picture, I'm going to try to have a green week. And I'm going to try to keep myself in a green month. Now we're at the end of the month, so hopefully I can hold that together. But sometimes you got to take a step back and look at the big picture. All right, so this year so far, I have not had. This was a close call for a red week. That was March, but still finished green. That was the same one. June here, what was that? 15, right? So that was, still a green week. And then back here in July. So, as long as I can keep the weeks green and then the months green, then these red days don't really matter that much. So that means knowing when to call it quits and just to accept that today is a lost cause. I'm not going to recover today. So that means I've got to sit with the emotion of being a little disappointed, a little bummed out for the rest of the day today. The best way to alleviate this feeling that I have right in this moment would be if I could make $58,000, right? Because then I'm green on the day. I go from 0 to hero. I'm like, oh, what a recovery. Sure, that would feel amazing. There's no question about it. That would feel really good to have that recovery. But to make that kind of recovery, I'd have to take quite a bit of risk. And the market's not telling me that it's worthy of me taking that kind of risk. So then I wouldn't be trading the market I'm in. I'd be trading my own emotion. And most likely I'd go further into the red. And then all of a sudden, when do I give up? When I'm down 100, 150, 200, 300, 400, 500? I don't know, right? You gotta have that max pain. When do you call it quits? So in hindsight, you could say I should have called it quits sooner. Hindsight's always 20/20. I at that third loss when I went below 50, I said that's enough. So that's it for me. But I'll be back at it tomorrow, and tomorrow is all about trying to build a cushion, get into the green, get a little momentum going, and then if I could do that, size up a little bit, that'd be nice. Tuesday, if I've got some momentum, or Wednesday, then if I've got some momentum from Tuesday, lean in a little bit more, and then Thursday, last day of the month, see how we do. Friday, first day for the new month, August. So Friday we'll have to probably go a little slow anyways, because Fridays aren't typically my biggest day of the week, and it's the first day of the new month. So I got to get a cushion for August. But the goal for August will be $1 million. The same as the goal for June, the same as the goal for July. We're in a hot market right now. So that means, trying to hit $50,000 days pretty consistently and $250,000 a week. $50,000 red days are okay, as long as I'm still averaging 50,000 on the green days, and I'm green more often than I'm red. So the numbers are big. We're talking about, Volvo station wagon numbers here. This is Volvo money, but it's once you condition yourself to have these big wins and the losses, it becomes easier. It's harder early on because you're like, oh my gosh, that 58,000 could have bought me this or paid this bill or this and that. So you have to get to a point where you kind of become a little detached from what the money can do, and you're just trading the chart, and the money is sort of the byproduct, and that does require a bit of sort of mental separation. But that's conditioning, and that takes time. So that's part of why I'm able to do this recap, and I'm not throwing my desk upside down. I've conditioned myself to be able to lose 58,000 and go enjoy the rest of the day. It doesn't matter. I mean, look, I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm not going to mope around for the rest of the day. It doesn't matter. It's not a big enough deal that it's worth doing that. So where that number is for you might be $500. Maybe it's even lower. Maybe it's higher. But if you want bigger numbers, you've got to condition yourself to get comfortable with bigger loss. So the only way you can do it is to keep trading at the edge of your comfort zone, and to kind of closely monitor, like, how do I react? Am I good at walking away when I should? Am I following my rules? And then, just that's where you're going to start to see growth. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know you appreciate these red day recaps. So I hope you hit the thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed to the channel, and I'll be back at it bright and early tomorrow morning, streaming 7 a.m. for members at Warrior Trading. So reminder, easy come, easy go. Trading is risky. All right. So, that's just the way it is. And you just got to keep that in mind. But I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. And let's see. Oh, there's one other thing I was going to say. I did just upload over the weekend an episode about the change in the proposed change to the pattern day trader rule. the PDT rule may change from being a $25,000 minimum to a $2,000 minimum. So if you didn't check out that breaking news YouTube video from the weekend, I'll post a link to that here so you guys can watch it. And because that's going to be a real game changer. And I think it's important in the event that that does happen, that you start getting ready for heightened volatility in the market that will likely come once that rule gets implemented. Now, likely it's still, 8 to 12 months away, even if it gets approved later this year, but never too early to start practicing and getting ready. Okay, so that's it for me. And again, easy come, easy go. Trading's risky, so take it slow, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning.